So this is not going to connect to the live stream. So I've started recording this Zoom session just to let everyone know. Can you see in the top left corner that it is recording?
Yes, I can see that.
Okay, so we will record this way and share afterwards. Okay.
Mr. Chair, with that, and we are being recorded for the minutes, so we're good to go. So you can start.
Good evening. We're going to bring this meeting to order. This is the Warren County Board of Adjustment. My name is Glenn Forsyth. I'm acting chair. I'd like for each member to state their name for the record of the board.
Robert. Greg Cox.
Randall Robinson.
And staff, Ken Krulik.
Okay. First, we're going to go ahead and we're going to follow the order of the agenda. We're just going to, the minutes from the last meeting is pending action and or discussion. So we'll go ahead and continue with new business. We do have a quorum. Is that confirmed?
We do. We need to still set the agenda, but yes, we do have a quorum with 4 members.
First, before we start, we have to make sure we do the disclosure before we swear in the witnesses. As far as an impact, each applicant is entitled to a fair and impartial decision from the board. And at this time, I'd like to ask each member if there is any
Conflict of interest?
Any conflict of interest or any kind of disclosure of ex parte communication, site visit. That echo is killing me. Is there anyone at this time would like to address any? Any information that you would like to provide at this time?
No.
All right, none heard at this time. We'll move on. Okay, today we're going to discuss a new business. It's a continuous use permit for Quantum Games LLC to operate electronic gaming, fishing tables, internet sweepstakes business at 2455 Eaton Ferry Road, Littleton, North Carolina, 27850. The property is zoned neighborhood business and is located in tax map L2A-61B in the Food Line Shopping Center at Lake Gaston, 12 plus or minus acres in the Roanoke Township. We'll hear now from the applicant, and then we'll open it up for board discussion and comments and action.
Mr. Chair, if I may interject real fast, just from a procedural standpoint, thank you. Just to review the procedures for everyone, for the applicant's benefit, anyone in the public, and also those who are joining in by Zoom. Obviously, we're here to have evidence presented on this application for this conditional use permit 2020-02 CU02 by Quantum Games for a internet sweepstakes business in the Food Line Shopping Center. Please bear in mind that the actions of this board are based upon facts presented in evidence to support the application, or facts presented in opposition. So the 3 options they have to be able to decide could be to approve, to table, or to deny. And then again, it must be supported by evidence and on either of those decisions. The next step, if the application doesn't go the way that it's proposed, the next step from this board would be to the Superior Court. Please bear in mind also that in addition to the provisions in the zoning ordinance for a conditional use permit of this type of use, that there are 3 specific criteria as a conditional use permit that must be looked at for an application. And basically what the board's going to look at that the use will not materially endanger the public health, safety, or general welfare if located where it's proposed and developed according to the plan and application as submitted and approved by this board. That the use meets all required conditions, and that the location and character of the use, if developed according to the plan as submitted and approved, will be in harmony with the area in which it is to be located and in general conformity with the plan of development for the county. So those are three aspects of a conditional use permit, regardless of the application, that this board must consider. And again, you must base their decision on facts presented by both the applicant and also anyone in opposition to the application. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Pruitt. Okay, let's see, we're down to, are there going to be any witnesses here today that,
I'm sorry?
witnesses that we need to swear in?
We have also on the Zoom, we have the attorney representing the applicant. We have the applicant themselves. We do have two individuals on Zoom representing an opposing opinion, Lynn Pritchard and Pastor Sherry. And I believe one more gentleman. Okay, and so one gentleman that's, I believe, in support with the applicant.
Very good, thank you. All right, right now I'm going to go ahead and administer the oath. I can't see you raise your right hand, but are you going to be witnesses as well? Yes. Could you stand and just stay where you are? Do you swear to tell the truth or affirm that the information that you're going to provide today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Help you God. Thank you. And please, for the note, make for the record that she responded in the affirmative. The echo in this, let me see if I can turn this.
You will turn the sound off of your computer if your laptop, Mr. Forsyth, still has the sound on.
Thank you, that's a lot better. Yeah, we had a lot of interference right there and I was hearing myself 3 times. Okay, so right now we're gonna go ahead and hear from the applicant, and then we'll hear from any rebuttals. The applicant, you may start your. And ma'am, if you don't mind, if you can state your name for the record and who you represent.
I'm Rita Patel, and I'm applying for the conditional use permit for Quantum Games LLC.
Thank you. Please affirm that you've been sworn in.
Yes, I have.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am, you may begin.
You're the applicant, so you're going to explain what you're trying to do and the purpose of the application.
Okay.
And what you're seeking to do, and just you're basically defending what your application is for.
Okay. This is for a conditional use permit for Quantum Games. It's an internet-based. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a conditional use permit for Quantum Games. I'm applying for a permit to open a sweepstakes at the Eaton's Ferry Plaza, which is already a shopping center. And I'm hoping my application will be approved.
Okay. All right. Is that the
That's
opening
it.
statement? Yeah, okay. All right. Let me put my mic back on. Okay, now we will
No,
I'm hoping everybody,
if you will leave your microphone off on Zoom, you were speaking through the microphone at the table. Sorry about that. But
oh, thank you, gotcha. We're in a new world now. Okay, so we've just heard from the applicant, and now we want to see if there's any parties that are opposed to this application.
Well, I have an opportunity to speak on behalf of the company. I don't know if you said the order. My name is John Trapp. I'm the attorney that represents the company and might be able to provide more insight as to how the business is run, the legality of it, and so on and so forth. So you can let me know. I just didn't know if they were going
No,
to.
that's okay, Mr. Trapp. Thank you, sir. You have the floor right now.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
So I've represented Quantum Games.
Just 1 second, sir.
Yes, sir.
Witness, giving testimony.
Before we start, Mr. Trapp, I apologize. Do you swear and affirm that the information that you're going to provide today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help
I
you
do.
God?
I do, sir.
Thank you, sir. You may proceed.
First, we'll start with, I've represented Quantum Games for about 2 years now, and I represent the software companies that provide the software to them. First, we'll talk about the legality of the business and the gaming industry. There are at least 3 or 4 general statutes that manage and maintain this industry. And the North Carolina General Statute 14-306.1, North Carolina General Statute 14-306.1A, North Carolina General Statute 14-306.4. In particular, 14-306.4 focuses on video sweepstakes. And it talks about how if you have a game that is predominated by skill and dexterity, it is lawful. It is no longer considered a entertaining display, and would allow for individuals to not only play, but if the patron plays well enough, to win certain prizes, even cash or cash equivalent. I've represented at least 50 to 60 different businesses between Warren County and Catawba County, and as far south as Lumberton, in similar matters. I've had several other meetings with boards of adjustment, and I provided for Mr. Krulik an example of a preliminary injunction or restraining order I received in Catawba County. All of the software that we operate is tested by experts. I have a video gaming expert out of the state of Ohio. His name is Nick Farley. I provided a copy of his CV as well as his report when he tested the game to verify it is a game of skill and dexterity. It was also tested by a clinical psychologist out of the University of North Carolina. And his name is Dr. Neil Mulligan. His purpose was to talk more about the psychological and physical aspect of playing these games, not necessarily the programming and symbols and code that is within the game when individuals are interacting with it. And I know that there's sometimes a reservation in regard to these games because of the people it may attract, or the fact that they could become victims of crime because of their success. But I know that this business will have security. This business will have a mag lock on the door so that they can control entry and exit of the building. They'll have individuals to walk people to their cars to make it seem as safe and as secure as possible. I know that there is a mention about, will the use not materialize the public health and welfare? In my opinion, I believe that this business will bring patrons to frequent that shopping center, to go to the grocery store, to go to it will bring in general public who may not necessarily go to that shopping center. It'll increase business in that location. I believe it'll meet all the required conditions of this conditional use permit in relation to parking, in relation to number of people. I know that there's additional factors that have been presented by our governor in reference to space and number, in reference to wearing masks, in reference to sanitation before and after use, and all those things will be followed. And lastly, will it be in harmony with the environment? Many of the businesses that I represent are actually a combination of both a vape and tobacco shop and a sweepstakes. And individuals who go into these businesses would actually be required to purchase vape or tobacco products before they could ever actually play or participate in any of the games. And so I believe that is kind of a perfect match between Quantum Games and the vape shop that's already in the facility. And then several individuals before they play will want to get a bite to eat. And I think that the fact that it's in or near a food line will promote business and good operation of those two entities. So I think that this business will meet the 3 criteria that are necessary for an application to be approved. I see or heard that there may be some opposition to this, and I think that that might be based on maybe misconception or assumption. And if there is an opportunity, I'd be happy to answer any question about this specific business and how it will be run and how it will benefit Warren County. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, are there any, you wish to call any witnesses on your behalf, or any testimony, further testimony, or any more documents that you would like to provide at this particular time?
No, sir, not this time.
Okay. All right. Now we'll examine the other party that has standing. And what I mean by standing is probably any type of effect that this may cause. So right now, open up this part of the meeting. First, let me ask, does the board members have any questions? Okay. So right now, we'll go ahead and open it up for anyone else that's opposed to this, and have them have the floor at this time, and I'll swear you in. Does anybody wish to speak at this time?
Mr. Chair, if I may, I do know that Ms. Pritchard and Pastor Sherry had sent in a letter in opposition, and that's why they're on Zoom to be cross-examined as witnesses opposing the application. So with that, either Pastor Sherry or Ms. Pritchard, can you hear us? Are you there?
Yes, I can hear you.
And this is Pastor Sherry.
I'm Pastor Sherry, yes.
So, Mr. Chair, just to swear her in as a witness, please.
Are you ready, Pastor Sherry?
Yes,
All right. Very good. Do you swear or affirm that the information you're going to provide this evening is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, ma'am. You may begin.
We as a church oppose this business or any type of business that promotes gambling, which would take advantage of any of people and put them in a place of poverty. We live in an area that's already poverty stricken, and we address that plight through our church through feeding programs and things like this. Gaming businesses take advantage of people in those kinds of situations because they try to go in and try to win money in order to put themselves in a better position. It is spiritually, ethically, and morally against what our scriptures tell us. And we as the Lutheran Church oppose it because of that.
Hey, Pastor, thank you. Is there any rebuttal to the pastor's statement? Board members, would you like to make any comments or ask any questions? Yes. We have another witness. Is it, sorry? Claude. Thank you, Mr. David. Would you swear and affirm that the information that you're going to provide us tonight, technology guys, the information that you're going to provide tonight is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you, and you may continue.
Yes, sir. Can everybody hear me? Fine. Okay, can everybody hear me? Okay. I own Skill Zone 3 and 4. I own Skill Zone in Lewisburg. So I'm in the gaming business. I have one location right here at the Just Save Shopping Center. I've been in the gaming industry for about 4 years, among other things. I own Firehouse Biscuits and Burgers, always in Bloom Garden Center here in Warren County. I also sit on the EDC board. I'm a town commissioner in Norlina. We have never had any problems at any of our locations except one where we were robbed at 4 o'clock during the day by some teenage kids. But there was out of 4 locations and almost 5 years, we've had one incident. I employ about 30 people that spend money in the community and so forth. I heard people mention that, they're worried about crime and so forth. You don't have any problems. You can report. The law enforcement is never called. As far as gambling goes, a raffle is a gamble. 9 lottery tickets for the gamblers, So you really can't put it into place as gambling. It's really entertaining is what it is. It's entertainment. You can take anything and turn it into something bad if it's not done properly or run properly. I think we take a lot of precautions in trying to make sure that the area is safe, that we control the type of people who frequent, visit our locations. I can't really breathe in this thing, but I don't, like I said, just never really had any issues or anything to speak of to not approve this special use permit. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Okay, I was a little thrown there because I had requested persons that were opposed, but apparently that was someone that was a witness for the applicant. So, well, let's go ahead and open it up to the board for any questions that you might have at this time in terms of anything that concerns you.
Yeah, this is Greg Cox. Are there different safety measures that need to be taken when the sweepstakes place is in a strip center versus an independent, a freestanding building? Can you hear me? Okay, sorry about that. Are there different safety measures that are taken when it's in a strip center versus a freestanding building? A sweepstakes location?
In terms of from a zoning standpoint? Security. I can't answer about the terms of security. I mean, most places that I'm aware of will have some type of on-site security, whether it's in a strip center or whether it's standalone. Now, the level of security, that really is dependent upon the actual business itself, but in my experience and what I've researched, there's some type of security at that location.
If I may, I think I can help answer your question. I don't know if it matters if it's a freestanding building or if it's in a shopping center. It is based on the owner. Oftentimes when owners get approval to open up the business, they'll reach out to local law enforcement, whether it's the local police department or sheriff department, and see if any of their officers want to work while they're off duty to serve as security. And then if not, then they'll find security from a private firm. Normally the busiest times are in the evenings and the afternoons, and that's when security is heaviest. But I don't think it matters if it's in the strip mall or not. I think it might just matter on the time of week, the time of day, and just the amount of patrons that are visiting. So the more patrons that are there, more security presence will be available, and definitely late at night.
Ms. Pritchard, are you still with us? Ms. Pritchard? Ms.
Yes, I am.
Okay, ma'am, would you like to make your statement at this time?
I had nothing to add to what Pastor Sherry said. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes. Are there any more witnesses or rebuttal? All right, none at this time. We're going to go ahead and see. Any questions from the board? Any further questions from the board at this time? Okay. I just had one quick question, and that was about the parking. And I know that the food line area is has a lot of parking. Is there designated particular parking for this particular facility? Do you have enough spaces?
Mr. Chair, if I may, and actually, I asked to be sworn in since I know I'm staff, but I do have to be sworn in before I give any evidence.
Absolutely. I'm going to swear in staff at this time. Mr. Clerk, do you swear to affirm that the information that you're going to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth today?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you, sir.
So yes, in response to the question, there is more than adequate parking in that Food Line shopping center. In fact, there's a number of businesses that have been in operation for years, and even in my time here with the county, the busiest I've ever seen it, it's never been full. So in terms of the use of the individual unit, there would be adequate parking which would be met. In terms of the other provisions for this type of use, the conditional use permit provisions just require that the business abide by the hours of operation for the noise ordinance, and that would be between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and then until 12 midnight on Fridays and Saturdays. And then noise levels cannot go above what the noise ordinance allows, and enforcement of the noise ordinance is through the Sheriff's Department. And then, of course, then as mentioned, the parking and flow of traffic for this location would not be an issue from a staff standpoint that I can see. And I would say that based upon the material submitted, the application, and even with the evidence presented both for and against, staff does recommend approval of this particular conditional use permit, but also contingent upon whatever the most current North Carolina state rulings are with regards to these types of games. So that's my report.
Very good. So now we'll ask the board, again, is there any other testimony? Does anyone else have anything to say? Pro or con at this time? Okay. Board members, do you have any comments or anything you'd like to say at this time before we move this motion? Okay. Okay.
Mr. Chair, I do have one quick question, though, just as a follow-up, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
On the application that you had submitted, Ms. Patel, you had the address as 2455. Which unit actually are you going to be going into? Because that address would be the food line itself, to which particular unit. So that would be the board's understanding. Which unit in that shopping center are you going to be going into?
It's the one next to the tobacco shop and the Highway 55. It's in between that. It used to be an old BB&T bank.
Thank you. Yes. So yeah, so that was just my one question from staff, is to verify the location. So it would be the address. I don't recall what the exact address is for that unit, but the former BB&T branch on that right side of the shopping center.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay. Does anybody want to make a motion at this time?
I'll make a motion that we approve the conditional use.
All right. Is there a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay.
So that was a
has been,
motion by Bob Kelly, second by Greg Cox.
sorry.
A motion by Bob Kelly to approve and seconded by Greg Cox.
Thank you for the record. Okay, so the motion has been made, the second has been made. Are there any discussions before we bring it up to a vote? Okay. All in favor of the continuous use permit for Quantum Games LLC to operate an electronic fishing gaming table sweepstake business at 2455 Eaton Ferry Road, Littleton, North Carolina, 27850. Property is zoned neighborhood business and located in the tax map of L2A-61B in the Food Line Shopping Center in Lake Gaston, 13 plus or minus acres in Roanoke County or Roanoke Township. We'll call the vote. The board will now vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. That's a unanimous decision for the continuous use permit. That would probably conclude this portion of our pseudo hearing today.
Mr. Chair, if I may, just one more point,
Yes,
just for the applicant's purpose. So yes, it's been approved, but now you have to make sure that you apply for your appropriate building permits for inspections for fire code, because you're changing the use of the building from a bank essentially to this type of business. So just for the record, that the applicant will now have to have the unit inspected to make sure it complies with the state building code for this type of use for fire safety and other issues.
Mr. Trapp, do you have any questions or any concerns at this time?
One quick question just for myself and for Quantum Games. Will we be scheduling those inspections with you, or should we contact fire and the other locations directly?
No, my office will handle those inspections, so please contact me.
All right, well, we'll contact you first thing tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, looks like this application has been approved, and we are about to adjourn for today. But before I do that, let me make sure, do we have any future meetings set up?
Not yet.
Not yet. Anything else before we come to adjournment? Does anybody want to make it? I'll make a motion that we adjourn at this time.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thank you very much. I appreciate your participation. We will close this meeting.
Thank you all for your time, and thank you for those that joined in by Zoom.